Welcome to House Blood, where strangers are family. Every episode contains graphic content, including but not limited to copious amounts of blood, unnecessary cursing, death of all ages, be they infants or immortals, fantasy drug use, nudity, mentions of sex, and sound effects of various qualities. We cannot stress enough that this is mature content with adult themes. You have been warned. I hope you're ready.
All right, welcome to House Blood. I'm Gray, your DM and host, and we're a D&D 5e 2024 podcast in 2025. Currently playing the adventure Hangman Worms of Frostheart. The story follows a group of misfits facing sentient calamities threatening to destroy the world, led by a Genasi army called the Rebirth Bastion. Most of the monsters I use are created by Oh Hi Mark. You can support his Patreon, although everything he makes is free. The music in our games is curated by D&D Breakfast Club on YouTube with credits to each respective artist. I'm joined here today by Mega.
Hello, I am Mega, and I play Eddie, the Otterboy Triton Bastard class, and nothing else. Sad Panda.
As well as Gumo.
Hello there, I am Tyler. I'm the player of Gumo, the Reborn. Ooh.
As well as Mavet.
Howdy, y'all. I am Mavet Sohafidash, but my player name is Recusant. As you guys know, I am the sap that holds the party together.
As well as Aluya.
Ayo! Needy here. I play Aaliyah O'Black, the human cleric sorcerer. Take that.
And finally, Seer.
Ow, I took it. I am Moomin. I play Seer, the Genasi artificer that's always on fire.
Okay. All right. So who can tell me what happened last session? We had some crazy shit go down, such as a tree doing drugs and beating himself up. You feel comfortable doing it, Rakuzan? Huh? You son of a bitch?
Yeah, I mean, my mom's a nice lady.
You know what? I'm.
What'd she ever do to you?
Ray, I can't believe you, man.
Look, I was
I'm
just.
depressed now. I know it's just the same, but sometimes it hurts.
Yeah, I
Oh.
just.
It's so depressing to hear that.
Look,
I'll be here
all
for
I
you.
was. Look, all I meant to do was. It's just. Give me the damn recap.
Could have just said sorry instead of making excuses, but you know what? I'll do the right thing and just try to forget about it.
It's like all my problems.
So, Mavet has a flashback of his being born again. During the flashback, he ends up wanting to kill a kid, but something prevents him from doing so, and he instead crushes his hand and tells him to stop being a little pistol, or a
Pistol.
little pussy, a human term. I
Yeah.
know I used the wrong plant part, Eddie, before you say it, but pussy. I was trying to make it funny, but I'm not good at plants.
Too
Anyways,
bad that fell short, just like your branches.
yeah. Anyways, Mavet gets pissy. He wants to go get high to find Eddie. He comes across a group of people. He does the biggest toke ever and does all the drugs. Some fun things happen. He switches bodies with a Goliath.
Oh, yeah.
Mavet wants to fight himself to see who's stronger, or if he's actually as weak as he has been throughout the rest of the campaign. Turns out his body sucks. Then Eddie and Aluya are, I think it had, what was it? I think it had to do with Minerva. I don't know much.
Yep.
Trying to remember. But then I know Eddie and Aluya come back. Eddie switches the bodies. And yeah, that's what I remember.
You got the first quarter of the session. That's good. Anyone else want to fill in the details here? Aluya, how's your notes
Man.
looking?
So I know. I'm just,
Like, Mavet couldn't even be bothered to cheat this time.
I think I left early last time, so maybe I
Yeah.
missed the second part.
I think that
You did not leave early
Eddie-
enough to miss the second part.
Yeah. Eddie and Luya, make their way back to the scene of the crime, and she changed her appearance to look like an orc male? No, female. I
Female.
did orc female because it reminded me of the guy that she used to crush on. And pretty much Aluya stayed silent. She deferred everything to council, pretty much. Seer was not doing well. Pretty much that things were left off that everyone would need to talk. But for right now, it's best to just kind of maintain appearances. And even though Seer had a lot to say to Aluya, not to, give off her disguise to anyone else. Eddie and Aluya did help people. I forgot where exactly they went to. They went to like a slummy area. Is that correct?
Yep.
And Eddie, doing his Jesus work, was giving out food, and
Called by the locals the dredges, because I'm just gonna steal it from Eddie. Fucking.
Yeah, we made our way to the dredges with Mavet and Gumo. We handed out food. I know Eddie left Mavet, Aluya, and Gumo together, and Gumo to babysit us. Eddie went out on his own again. Right? Eddie went out by himself, right? And he had done some stuff to like kind of settle tensions and talk to people and kind of make things better. And I know we got arrested.
You caused a faith war in town.
Yes. He finds Galvin, and they come across a commotion of like a group of people worshiping Minerva, trying to stop people from praying to Aeolus. He settled things for now. I think it ended off that we all rested, and the next day, and then the guards came for our meeting. Or is that what it was? I can't remember.
3D temp for the both of you. Please roll.
Money!
That sounds nice to have. I'm joking.
I'm not.
Oh, I did not roll very good. Okay. 10 gold it is. Boo.
9 gold it is.
All right. Everyone, please have a look at your sheets. Keep track of how many D6s you have, what inspiration that you have, because it's going to be coming into play today.
I think I marked off Eddie's and mine's in the notes. He has a few.
Yes, he does.
We take a long rest at some point. I
Yes,
could
we
probably
did.
use my 5th level spells back.
Yep.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I'll put a
Still
long
at half
rest
HP.
then.
All right.
All right. Bardic Inspiration is back, as well as spell slots. Let's go. Finally.
Yeah, let's get into things here. So, all of you are well, I would say most of you. I didn't get a hearsay. Yeah. Seer was sleeping at the alchemist shop. I would say all of you are gathered up, even you, Seer. Like, it's a familiar sight. Like, as a crowd of people swarm outside the alchemist shop, and you're woken up by soldiers. Everyone is ferried away to the tower that got collapsed, and you see that there's a pulley system in place now. You see that there is a very large woven basket and some hemp rope with a mechanism to get to the top. It looks like it took a little bit of effort to make this. Is there any like highlight during this little jaunt I should be aware of? Like any like talks between people, or at least like Mega, I believe you expressed yourself pretty clearly to Nita about how things were going to go down for a situation.
In fact, I think it would be maybe communication by message. Remember what we agreed to?
Just out of character, what was I agreeing to again?
Good job. I'm so proud of you. Wonderful.
It's heavily implied and reinforced that this celebration for the heroes of the town might take a turn to your recent crimes. And Mega, Eddie, said because you came to the city under his name that he will take any and all responsibilities for your actions, for better or worse. And I believe the promise was say nothing or something to that effect.
Yeah, because I agreed to that because I said no matter what, you can tell Seer I did what I did, but you can't tell her why I did it. That was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I agreed to the terms.
It's like I agree to these terms.
Okay.
All right,
Well-
just sign here, initial here.
But so
I
let's
agree to them again.
let's replay that one more time. Eddie, you send a message, and what's the message say?
You remember what we agreed to, right?
Correct. I don't feel good about it, but I will hold up my end of the deal. Yes.
Missed opportunity. Just to say, could you remind me? Would have been a
Damn.
good bit. Sorry, continue.
It's like I'm not doing or saying any of this to make you feel bad. This is just what needs to happen.
I get it, and I'll do as you say.
Someone roll a D100 as this conversation's taking
Ooh.
place.
Eddie,
I'll do
because
that.
he's gonna roll a 99. Yeah.
Someone, anyone, just one person.
Oh boy, 64. And also I'm gonna roll my D6 hero points.
Nintendo 64!
Oh my god, it's 68 instead.
I have 5 hero points now. Let's go.
So you see that like some people, some sea elves from a pilgrimage have returned today, and you just see like them on their knees, crying at the devastated state of their city, and some of them even lost their homes. You see a lot of emotional wreckage. Even family reunions are cut short. You see like some people that have returned from travel, like going to holes in the ground where the dead were dropped and sunk. And we see groups form, one for Minerva, one for Aeolus, as sermons are being held to honor the dead. Oh, that was a lot more depressing than I thought it'd be. Actually,
Hey
hit
guys,
me a
look
little
at
bit.
bodies.
That hit me a little bit. So you guys are moving forward. Any other conversations that take place as well? You know what, Moo, you get introduced into the group here. We'll say that you guys are approaching the staircase at the garden of ice sculptures. Again, all the ice sculptures are missing, or at least the humanoid ones, from the Pyreworm attack and Quagmire's activities. As you reach this, I imagine it's almost like a liminal space kind of effect, because you know that there should be sculptures, but a lot of them are missing. So there's a lot of empty space that creates that unnatural, eerie feeling. And I imagine, Seer, you walk up, the contrast of your fiery form with the ice sculptures, like it causes some of them to melt slightly. Is there anything that you say or do as you get reunited with the group and you see Aaliyah in her true form? I assume true form, Aaliyah?
Yeah, because
No
we would
point.
have rested
Yeah.
and the guards came for us.
Yeah, and there's no point in hiding.
Then I would say honestly, it wouldn't be too much words. It honestly would be this moment where it's like as Seer comes up, they look at the group entirely, and then it's kind of like this moment where they kind of look at Aaliyah, and it's like the shift of emotions where they kind of like, you can see that moment of like joy for a moment when they kind of look as like they see the group and them, and then it's kind of flooded with this sudden like, it's not anger, but it is definitely a mixture of something else with it. But we can definitely say it becomes this like sudden somber look as like it's they're trying to fight away their emotions and just simply go, well, looks like we are united once more, though I wish in better terms of things.
Aaliyah will side eye and go, mm-hmm.
Hmm?
And that's it.
We'll be treated as
Small-
heroes! Ha ha! You just see the Galvin just excited, again, oblivious to what's happening.
Oh, stupid
I want you to
nonsense.
imagine like that eye closed twitch, and
Mhm.
when Louis says that, and they just simply go like, Eddie, what is our next course of action? I have what I created for you ready to go. So, is there anything else you need me to prep before I do anything else? Because I am not going to lie, I'm a bit lost in thoughts of things.
All I can really say is I think we're almost ready for about anything. But then he switches to message because, as a reminder, we are being escorted.
Yep.
It's like, so then you finished the device?
Yes. Without asking too many questions of things, yes.
So, where's the... sorry, I'm trying to think of like the term would be...
Speaker?
It's like,
Or
what
microphone?
would that be our term for it?
Uh,
I guess it's something that speaks. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess it would be close
yeah,
enough.
let's not
You
get
can
too
call
crazy
it-
with it. We got an
You
idea.
could say magic mouth.
The magic mouth. You know what? That's a good comparison. Like that would be
Oh wait, no, even better.
the
It's like,
yeller.
it's like, no, where's the loudmouth
There you go.
currently located?
I was, with the help of the technologies we found with that dwarf, with that, and you see them kind of like trying to restrain how they feel. when we encountered that strange music that created that loud noise, I was able to design things. It's not one, it's a few. But the main one is located at where you specified where a lot of people could hear.
Good. Then, if I can ask just one more thing of you, and I would hope, it's not asking too much, I hope, but I'm going to leave it up to you to figure out when would be the best time to turn it on.
There will be no secrets. I will turn it on once they damn themselves in their own ways. All I will do is just wait for your phrase if you think otherwise. And the phrase I would say you can do is that more you can say? It doesn't have to make any sense. You already know the key words of things. I'll time it.
Understood.
Okay. Is there anything else that's said in this moment or that needs to be said?
They want to say a lot of things. They just can't say anything.
Aaliyah's gonna make it a point to make sure she's not. If she's by Seer, she'll move away from Seer.
No. How does that make you feel?
Gray, mind if I go a little flavor on this a bit?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's one of those moments where you would see it's like the change in their eye, but that's not the thing that would catch you in the strange moments, Aaliyah. You know how I described that you can see their veins and the cracks on them?
Yeah.
You would see one of the cracks on the face just like crack a little bit more suddenly. It doesn't make a noise. It just suddenly jolts up and remains.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to sync that up with the ceiling. You hear that same effect, the sound of ice cracking at that same moment, amplifying that effect.
Oh, wow, you've cracked like a porcelain doll. Fascinating.
Let's not think too hard on it.
Right.
All right. No, they basically they're in this moment of like dumbfoundedness, and they're just like, "I'll explain later. I never needed to."
Yeah. Unless anything else happens during this journey, keep in mind now is the time, like for conversing, like any spell casting, like just anything along the journey. Keep in mind you do have an escort, but you have more leeway as, again, these are just guards. But you're going to be making your way into a high-profile area with a lot of intellectuals and powerful people.
What spells I could put into my spell storing item? Because invisibility is great and all, but in this situation we're already out of the bag, so I think I'm going to pick one other spell. I'll message to you, Gray, what I have.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll ask the party one last thing before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
What is the plan for the worst? Let's say everything goes downhill. Naturally, be a natural thought for your characters. But what would you all do if everything goes wrong?
Off the top of my head, I think my character would be thinking of the spell Windwalk, which he has, which would turn all of us into 300 speed flying clouds.
That's pretty cool.
Just keep in mind, I believe it's a 1-minute cast, and we can still take damage.
Yes, but you do have resistance to all physical damage. And you have a fly speed of 300 feet.
Yeah, the point he's trying to make is combat can be initiated at start of the casting, which would be the equivalent of 10 rounds of you being distracted by that.
That's true.
I mean,
and also
I could
I
just-
concentration.
think it lasts 1 minute. Hold on, I need to look at the casting time. But yeah, that's something to
I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, would people resign to fate itself? Would people go out guns blazing? Would people try to escape? Like, what is the general mood or goal should the worst happen?
I mean, I know for a fact that Seer will not let themselves be captured, for they must continue their goals.
I've got more art to make.
And
I
what
can't
if
let
one
myself
person
become-
is a martyr?
Well, that's not.
Depends on the
Eddie.
reason. Depends on why they become the martyr. If it's something where I know they can get out of it, we're cool. If they're being executed and it's for a really dumb reason, oh yeah, no, I'm not allowing that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Mavet, you're saying?
No one will touch Eddie.
Mm.
I don't care about everyone else.
Understood. I guess
Um,
then, well, Aluya, you're the cause for the tension. I would assume all this tension and mood is visible in the group. How do you feel? Not towards the particular actions or consequences, but more of the turmoil of the group. How does that make your character feel?
I mean, it's upsetting. I mean, she kind of caused this tension in the group, but I think what she'll focus on is just trying to not make things worse. And if the worst comes, then she'll see if Eddie can stick with his plan and respect it. If not, then she'll probably make sure that they're okay to the best of her ability.
What about you, Eddie? You're the man of the hour. You're going to be the Atlas of this situation. How would you take responsibility? And looking around at you, you essentially, again, drawing parallels to a Messiah, like you have followers, people who are willing to die for you. You can even see it, like, on everyone's expression, that should the worst happen, should you take the full responsibility of these actions, and should things go sideways, people are willing to go through hell and back to save you. How does Eddie feel? And what's your current mental state or opinion on that?
He's going to put the safety of his friends first.
Okay. All right. I assume nothing else is said. You guys make your way up the spiral staircase, sculpted from ice. Light refracts off of it. It's almost a prismatic reflection. It's like you're going to heaven. As you crest corner and make your way to the top, you see all of Frostheart. You see all these sea elves in different states of minds, different factions, different emotions. And you see people rebuilding, not only themselves, but their world, city. And a glimmer of hope and warmth in your heart resonates. But just like every sunny day, it's ruined by a cloudy sky and a bit of rain. As you look up, you do notice more spots of rain beginning to drizzle. And again, all that you can think of is the pyreworms eating their way in the ceiling, and that rhythmic thump of Boreas, the demi-titan, walking around on the surface. Before you is a broken tower. The guards lead you into it, and just as you rise up, you begin to go down some stairs. And at a certain point, you break the ground level of Frostheart, and you delve deeper and deeper, wondering how far down does this spiral go. And the walls itself are clear. You can actually start to see the water, schools of fish coming by like a window. You even hear a whale. You hear a song from a whale. You can only assume that it's the parents of the late whale that got killed by Boreas. And it sounds like they are also mourning the loss of their child. This is called Whale Song Hall, as you begin to make it all the way down and enter a antechamber. You hear the murmur of hundreds of elves. It sounds like there's going to be quite the show behind these doors. While you're in this antechamber, you see an odd sight before you. You don't see Sea Elf. You don't see a familiar face. You see a skull with two glowing motes within the sockets. It's a skeleton dressed in red robes and a wide-brimmed, fluffy wizard's hat. It seems like this creature is reading a book, and it's very much alive, as much as it could be. It looks up as you all enter, and it says,
"Well, if it isn't Mr. Hayes, it's a pleasure to meet you."
and its eyes dance across everyone.
"Ah, the tree man Marvet. The lost girl, Aluya Oblak. And the tinkerer, Seer."
And its eyes finish with Gumo, and it doesn't have any words for you. It doesn't seem to recognize you. Before you can respond to it, the creature looks towards the guards and just says,
"I need but just a moment. Please, give us some peace and quiet."
But sir, we can't leave them unguarded.
"But a moment, if you would."
And there's a couple moments of silence. The guards are shifting their eyes.
"But scribe, don't say another word. Leave."
And you see the guards slowly exiting as you are left alone with this figure in the room. What do you all say?
Do you all know this thing? This fellow undead? Question mark?
Olia shakes her head no.
Well, it certainly knows you. As in all of you.
Well, to be more accurate, he's probably heard of us.
We did make waves.
"Yes, the dead have a lot to say about you."
Its eyes glimmer.
And what do they say about them?
They say a lot.
Very
I've
insightful.
Stares at you.
There was a couple that I've talked to in Shayam. They were good friends of Mr. Hayes. They have a lot to say to you. Do you remember?
And again, its eyes are glimmering like candles.
I believe I know the couple you're talking about.
Yes, quite the unfortunate incident. But change cannot be brought on without action. I do not judge. I only record.
And you just see him writing down in this book.
Hence the title Scribe.
Yes, I'm a necrotic chronicler. I talk to the dead and get true history in the making.
Have you ever considered being called the Necronicler?
I've tried. Too many syllables. They don't like to say a mouthful.
Their loss.
Indeed. That said,
I guess he would shift his gaze to other people in the group.
I don't mean to bring ill tidings. I mean to give you gifts. Aluya Oblak. I must say, Cordierosa is oh so beautiful. I love your waters. I took a stroll in your forest. Quite blue.
Well, thank you. Before you give us this gift, you are a scribe, but what is your name? So we could get to know you better.
Oh, you might have heard of me. I am talked about a lot. My name is Orancelli. It is a pleasure to meet you at last.
I'm so sorry. Is it orange jelly? What? Can you
Orancelli.
write that
Yes, friends like to call me Jelly.
out? Orancelli.
Yes.
What is it that we have done to be given such bounties?
There was a pause.
You are lodestars of a new world, and I wish to have your favor.
Well, a favor for what exactly? Do you wish us to do something, get something, say something? Why us?
I mean,
It is
Uh,
nothing nefarious. No hag's trick. I just want to be
that stung.
in your good graces.
Aluya, they're asking if they want us to be their friend.
I
True.
have many friends.
Comes close to Luya.
I want to give you a very special gift. First, I need to say They do not blame you. They love you, Miss Oldblack. They are very, very sweet children.
There's something unnerving about that. Can I insight check this dude?
It's a bit hard. It is a skeleton, but you may do so.
Just like to get his read his tone. I don't know what his deal is. I've made so many deals with so many bad people. Let's just take a step
It's good,
here.
Yeah, that is a good precaution. It really is, and I am to blame because I always give fucking monkey paws.
Every once in a while, it would be nice to have it be like a kitty paw. Wait, no, not kitty paws. It's,
Yeah, those scratch. I found that out the hard way, like last night.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do a D4.
Okay. What's the total?
27.
And what's your intentions?
Is this another, I guess, situation where she's like with Owen, like, yeah, we'll help you, but he's gonna like fuck me over in the end, or like with the hag, like, are they true about their intentions? Are they good and pure, or are they fucked up?
It's a weird contrast with its appearance and the way it presents itself. It's very unnerving. You're looking at unlife itself right before you. But at the moment, you don't feel any red flags. To the best of your knowledge, you, Aluya, do not feel like you are going to, in your words, get fucked.
Well, thank you kindly, Orancelli. I'm going to just momentarily hold off on your gift. I just want to...
Are you sure? I can tell you who did it. It is fine.
And he moves on, letting you simmer with that.
I'm okay with that.
Yep. Moves on.
Aluya gives absolutely no fucks about any of these ominous divinations.
Yep. Moves on to Seer.
Sia. I must say, Ergomir is quite the area. The mountains, the air, the wind. It really does chill you to the bone.
Unless you're like me and the other people similar to
I must say, there is someone stalking you. She is quite persistent.
Oh dear God, don't tell me it's...
Have you ever seen such icy blue eyes staring at you with hatred?
I don't remember that. I remember more of disappointment in some way.
You don't remember that? They do.
I'm guessing then that's where our kinship connects. Because originally I thought they were just wanting to murder me for no reason.
It's a revenant from your past. A ghost. They will not stop. Their blade is guided by love, and I am sorry to say, but you cannot run from this hunter. They are guided by visions of the future, and they know where you are. They walk to your throne with a blade in hand.
Let them come, for in this case of things, I will achieve my things, and I will be able to do things despite them. It's going to be the same song and dance we've done before. It's not going to be any different. And for love, I can't imagine someone to love someone that is so fanatic for my death.
It is because they love you so that they wish to extinguish your fire. Oh, Lodestar, your flame must not be smoldered. Live on, burn brightly, guide us.
I won't not allow myself to be extinguished, not by that crazy person I know.
It is your spirit that gives them power.
Then, eventually, I am not alone anymore. They will encounter that they'll need more power if they are wishing to confront me with the allies I have just gained.
Do not say you are not warned. If one of your friends perishes, it is you that must find another Lodestar. The burden is not on me.
And he begins to walk away unless you want to have the last word.
Not to him, but probably just says to the group, well, now at least I know that crazy woman's not able to find me every time out of pure luck.
Walks
Crazy
over.
X.
Go ahead. Crazy X. Gotcha. Mavet. The skeleton
me.
walks to you, examines you.
You are far, far away from your garden, sapling. Quite the curious sight. A star fallen. A parasite. It is strange that a tick can be a guide. But it matters not. I need to ask you, are you aware that you are a father?
I'm a father.
Yes, you are a father. You have ruined many lives. Do you remember the vines, the blight around Owen's dungeon? The Zombrian.
Yeah. I do. Your point.
You are very similar to that parasite.
Well, no shit. We're both plant-based.
Stares at you.
Is anyone else getting
Strange.
pissed that this guy is talking in, like, circles? I wish you would be more direct, buddy.
I am saying you are disturbing the natural order. Your roots, quite literally, corrupts and blights the lands. People are starving because of you. There are many spirits that wish to have the revenge and to burn your trees.
Okay, I don't care. they're not me. They're part of me. They are. I don't see it, so it's not happening. So can we just get on with this? What do you want?
Turn your eyes away, cover your ears from the chorus, but they still sing. You have been warned. They will
Who the hell
obstruct
is
you.
singing?
Goes up to Gumo, seeing that this is a lost cause.
I do not know of you.
Oh,
What?
I am surprised that our mutual friends do not discuss such things with you.
What are you? I talk to spirits. And yet, they do not speak of you.
Really? I speak to them quite often myself. I see them, speak to them, know them in and out.
The eyes are dimming, as in it's thinking. And there's a pause.
You are imperfect. How long would this meat puppet suffice as a vessel, a host?
That blue energy kind of overcomes his form for a moment, and he speaks to the man, the undead in front of him. It will do until I can be whole again. Until I can become one. And once again make art. I think that shall suffice as your answer,
Let it be known, there can only be one. One of you shall win control while the other is silenced. You are not the first to make this mistake in this foolish endeavor, and you will not be the last. I pray
I
for
guess
you.
we'll have to see if you get to see it.
Either way, we shall speak again. I am sure of it.
Walks up to Eddie, saving him for last. He stares. He doesn't create an opening like he did for the others. It's like he's examining you. Do you start the conversation or do you let the pause just go on?
Eddie has learned to appreciate silence when needed.
His eye sockets are completely black as they stare at you. And make me a perception check.
Oh, it changed its formatting slightly again. Oh, right. Yeah. Actually. Also, apologies if I'm a bit slower. It's like
That's fine.
I
It's
left my
been a
mouse
while.
at work.
All right. 22. So you do notice, like, maybe it's the dim lighting in the room. Perhaps it is like his general form and clothes that he's wearing, but you see a bit of your smoke around him, around his mouth, leaking from his eyes. And it occurs to you he might actually be having a conversation right now, just not with you. And again, as you're watching this happen, takes maybe 5-10 minutes. Unless you do anything. You feel like, I will say to the party, you do feel like this absence, this pause is a moment for all of you to speak, if anyone desires to say anything. Feel as if you are safe to speak about anything in confidence here.
So he's kind of retreated into himself to look and hear what the spirits are saying, correct?
He's talking to
He-
something.
Could I try and listen in?
I won't have you make a check that you can't succeed on.
Okay.
But I will say through your experimentation, you can identify he is not talking to spirits, but he's talking to something.
Oh.
Can I do the same?
Actually, you could succeed on this. you're
Oh.
the one of 2 people in this party that could do so.
What should I roll?
You don't need to roll anything. You just need to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh.
I need a little bit of guidance on this, Eddie. How would you visualize the Nexus manifest?
Oh.
'Cause I got an idea
Like,
in my,
when you say manifest, as in like how it would appear to mortals, or how it would appear like in its essence.
that's a hard one. And again,
I don't know the
like,
mechanics by which this conversation's happening, so
yeah. And well, I'm trying to think about this because it's also like Mavet's guiding point here as well, and he's in that weird area. Keep things simple. We'll say mortals. How would this appear to mortals?
if I had to have any insight on that, I don't think it would actually appear as a being per se, but more just like it's like if I'm like imagining like how it is, I would almost imagine as though like it's almost like being like in a space, like almost like in an open space, and rather than like being a being in and of itself, it's like more just like a central. I mean, there might be like, yeah, I think there might be like at least like some sort of center, but almost imagine as though like it is surrounded by different like a like a. I hesitate to use the term spider web because it's not like really webbing. It's like but similar in that the it's almost like this thing is being suspended by a series of light strings that spider web out further and further.
That's funny because I had the same image in my head. God, and I really don't want to have a one-sided conversation here, but I'll give you the snippet, the highlight here, Mavet, as you begin to approach this area. We'll talk about the saving throw in a second here. You feel like you're in a place that you shouldn't be. I can tell you that much. It's very alien, very disorienting. Like you're crushed by like intrusive thoughts and feelings and emotions. It's like you are cradling and feeling all of humanity, and it feels awful. And that weight feels like you're holding the world on your shoulders. It is crushing. But you see this figure and the vague presence of Orange Shelly. Perhaps it's represented by a yellow mote of light in this world. He barely has a form to stand before this entity, this creature. And I would say the point that you walk into is, and I want to represent this correctly, this form, this creature, I don't even want to give it a voice. I would say, like, you just get a feeling of the message. And the message is, why is it that my vessel can feel the other planes, feel connections beyond this, yet when I try to connect, well, I shouldn't say I, collective we, when we try to connect, there is but a wall. Do not find the holes. My connections are severed.
It's a tale as old as time itself. From the times of the Dragon Kings and the Arch Thrones. It watches us through those peoples, you see. He had to do it. He needed to take away that power. He needed to create that wall. We would all be doomed without it. That security. Do not worry. The wall is falling. And your servants, your vessels, will be our last bastion.
There's a collective pause. It feels like the scales of the world are rising and falling on a decision. Feel it. And just as it's about to respond again, Mavet, you were shunted out. I have an idea, but I want to pitch one more thing to Mega. What do you feel like the backlash for like peeping into this area should be, or trying to manifest yourself before this creature? Or this entity, I should say, not creature. I feel like this area with all the connections is just like an overload of senses, thoughts, ideas. It's just too much for a mortal mind to handle or withstand for a prolonged period of time.
Okay, in which case, because I was actually going to ask whether it was because he was discovered or because he eventually got shunted out. It's like I would say that there were probably like it's like imagine putting like a two like receivers, like two walkie-talkies next to each other that's screeching.
Oh, yeah, I hate that. Hate it. Hear that static. And I'm trying to be creative here. Do you think would there be any temporary permanent effects from this static from being shunted out, or would this just be represented through damage?
If I had to take any guesses, if this was something that was happening like in the core of your mind, it's like I feel like it would either maybe fuck with one of your senses for a bit, or it'd make you susceptible to something for a time period.
Hmm.
Almost as though like because of the blowback, like maybe you're more susceptible to mental attacks, or um or in the vein of like the former that I mentioned, like a like losing a primary sense for a time.
Hmm. He's already deprived of a fair amount of senses here. Eyesight, hearing is a bit too much. Barely taste. He can barely feel. What else is there? Doubt he can smell. Let's go with the vulnerability because he's already deprived of a fair amount of senses here. Mavet, I'm going to say please write this down on your sheet and keep me honest. I know you have an ability that can combat this, but you do have disadvantage on mental effects in wisdom saving throws.
Okay.
Yep, and as you come back into reality, you hear that static. And at this moment, well, is there any conversations that are taking place before I move on here? Because 10 minutes to go forward.
Well, me getting shunted out, I would like to ready an action.
Okay. What's that action?
I would like to ready Moonbeam
Oh,
on top of Orangelli in case he um, begins to hurt Eddie in any way.
understood. All right. What the rest of you do?
That's odd. If he's talking to spirits, I can't connect with them. In fact, I
Well,
don't sense any spirits. Not at all.
well, if I have any suspicions, it's probably because you're not connected.
Possibly. Though I'm not into the depths of what I would describe as channeling of spirits. I would not know too much about how to do things like that.
I spent my entire time when I was alive and whole doing exactly that. It doesn't make sense. Not even my other half can connect with any spirits here. I don't think there are any here.
I assume then we are not dealing with someone that does things with spirits, but someone that does things with something else.
That would be what I have to believe. That, or he's just an insanely old undead with severe mental issues. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to say spiritual issues. Because he
Spiritual
doesn't have a
issues.
brain anymore.
Well, I don't think there's a single person in this room that doesn't have some mental issue.
Stares at him.
I don't know what you mean. I'm perfectly fine.
I know I'm not. Regardless of things, well, if we're in a private moment of things, we can discuss final things before being interrupted by either a raving skeleton or by other means.
So, is there anything that anybody would like to say to anyone?
A little louder.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Is there anything that anyone would like to say to anyone in particular?
Quite, yes. In fact, honestly, I
You
don't
know,
want to do
I
it at the
feel I feel like this might actually take more than 10 minutes. So, wow, it's really weird. I feel like the skeleton's out for 20 or 30. Go on.
Oh my god.
Let's get into it then, huh?
Might as well. It's just gonna be this moment where like Seer turns to Luya. If I have the perfect timing, Eddie, and I can't be interrupted of things, I do have to ask someone a question. I might have to ask a lot of questions.
Oh, from what I can tell, he's going to be out for a while.
Good. That won't stop me from something I've been bottling up a bit. You think, Luya, that well, I'm not gonna decide what you think, but Seer kind of like they don't cross their arms, they're kind of like moving a little closer and they're just kind of like looking at you heavily. It's not like a scorn, it's more of like this look that's just seems conflicted. And they just simply the first thing they say to you, Luya, before they do anything other questions is simply this. I want to make sure. Are you okay?
Perfectly fine, Sir. I get it. Things need to be said, but this is all I'm going to say. I made a huge mistake, and I clearly gave into emotion. I'm sorry for the position I put you all in. And it sucks, but you could leave me here and to deal with it, or I don't care. Do what you want. It's your life.
Thank you. I do think your 6 out of 10 work there does deserve an apology.
I just need to know why you lost it. I asked this, Luya, it's because if it was simply because of things related to possibly the nature of what you are now, because I understand that my kind have some influences upon someone. I'm also just need to know why, just because as far as I know, even though you do things like this before in the past, it was always I always described without thinking or on accident some way. Though this one felt more based off what I've seen with the burns and other things like that. Intentional of things. I might be inserting things at the moment, but I need to know why.
It's like you kind of feel like this annoyed tone with Oluya when she's talking to you. No, it's not a Genasi thing. It's embarrassing, really. I was stupid and I was tricked. And yes, I gave in to emotions yet again. And it went really bad. Like, really bad. And
Tricked how?
things happened. Things went down. Look, bottom line is, I did a bad thing. I need to make it better. I will take whatever comes my way. The only thing I feel bad about is, them dying and the position that you are currently all in because of me.
It is her fault. All
Yes,
of it.
thank you, Mavet. So insightful.
I am very aware it is their fault. I dug up all the things that occurred, and I have to take care of the bodies that were done by them. I am very aware of this.
You must be exhausted from all the things that Aluya has caused.
I am exhausted by many things that not only them, but the group has caused.
I
But let's be
want to
honest,
just
it was
say
mainly
something here.
Aluya.
I just want to say something here. Galvin pipes in. You do not have a high horse, looking at Mavet. I have seen what you've done to that child. You are also guilty.
At least I didn't kill him.
Yes. Remind me, Tree Man. What do you value most in life?
I'm not talking to you.
Oh my gosh, angsty teenager. But I will say it's like as the kind of conversation goes, when Aluya doesn't answer the question, it's not a bigger crack, but it's like these tiny little cracks that start forming as she asked you why, and essentially you're hiding against it. And you could definitely tell because like you always seen her as kind of like stone faced, very, I wouldn't say stoic, but very much like holds her emotions back often. But the big thing you can notice is that as the stress combines with like her exhaustion from the craziness things, it seems it's been building up to this moment where you just now are able to see these little moments. Now she seems to be more expressive a bit, where this time now it's an easier emotion to see, Aluya, is that it looks like they're becoming more and more, I would say, sad. I'm not going to say depressed. I'm not going to say sorrowful. It's like sad. As these two discuss, and they basically just stare. They're rubbing their head, and they're like, regardless of.
Before you continue on, because again, like the resolution towards your particular scene, it's not going to come in a couple minutes here. I will say that Galvin will finish his thought and just go up to Eddie, like clamp him on the shoulder, looking at Mavet. I don't care if you don't want to hear it. What you're doing is putting this man in harm's way. I know you don't care what happens to yourself, but think about other people. And again, I assume Mavet's still turning his head away, being deaf to it. But that's the resolution that he finishes off.
Oh, no, I would have been laughing at Seer.
Oh, Jesus, such an asshole.
No, I'd be so if I could throw this in, noticing the cracks on Seer's face, and if that how she described it is apparent. Look at what you're doing, Aluya. Look at her. Look at it. It's all your fault why she's so sad.
Oh, look at me. I am Mavet. Be fruitful, you stupid dick. You're gonna have the dumbass children. You're gonna ruin the world with your offspring. All right, the dude just gave you a warning, and you're like, oh, I don't give a shit. How about we don't give a shit? You can go.
Got you a little riled up, huh?
With some saving throw, dude.
You're making
disadvantage. Like that was harsh.
That's pretty damn harsh.
That's fucking harsh.
Jeez, they even know use your own. I would have been like, oh yeah, you can respond to that, but they used your own words. That's what's sad. Jeez.
Holy crap!
Yep.
That was almost a nat 20.
Continue.
I will be honest with all of you, is that I have witnessed you all make so many bad decisions of things, and I have been, in a lot of ways, powerless to be able to stop things. And yet I have been able to help out a lot of the things with the help of you all, as well as Eddie. And right now, Eddie's in a moment where they're in a bad spot. Despite that, though, I won't lie, Mavet. Whatever's going on with you, whatever is happening, if you remember our first conversations before you became a twig compared to what you were before, I just assume that you just don't care, for you don't have the connections that others have. So I will not blame you, but I will not listen to what you say. But looking back to Aaliyah, as they're kind of like being like that, you are different because I need to hear why. If it's just a mistake, mistakes can be learned, mistakes can be taught, mistakes can be prevented. But if you're just saying it that you did it on a whim, I can't fix a whim. I can't understand a whim. I can only do so much and I can only hold so much back because I never really had people I've been with for so long in this long time where I can actually express how I feel of emotions of things. And now I'm at this moment where I need to know things, and being silent to it is now something I cannot hear.
You want answers? I cannot give you whatever you think you're going to get. It had nothing to do with you or Mavet or Eddie or Goo. It was me being me. That was it. I was overcome with emotion. These sea elves, they're dicky people. They have a lot of hate in their hearts.
They do. And that is because it is not because of you, but it is because of people before you, because of people that I know, because of people that have taken away things from them, Aleluia. And even though I know they are the worst moments of their life, I've worked with so many people that would hate me, but they will hate you no matter what if you're helping them. And that's because it's natural. And that is why I know that the things that they'd done were irrational. I understand this. But are you telling me that you just simply did it out of the fact of retaliation?
It was like this. I was moving along. Everything was cool. And then they're beating on their own people because of the hate in their heart. They see me. What am I to do? Not defend myself?
You have every right to defend yourself, Aleluia. You have every right to keep yourself safe. All of you do. But that is because I know you can keep yourself safe. This is not about safe. That is why I'm asking, because frankly, Aleluia, I am this close to having whatever semblance of what I can feel connections with the group of this situation, of their retaliations, their actions, their maddening situations of what they pick besides Eddie. I've worked so hard. I've been endlessly working fixing messes that were done by others. And I've been cleaning up other people's messes. And knowing that you will create more messes just because of that, I can accept, but I cannot accept the fact that I know for a fact that you didn't need to kill all those people. You could have just fled how you helped me fled.
But before we continue this scene further, Louis, I want a deception check. This will be against Moo's insight DC. Or passive? Yeah, that'd be close to the passive. So it'd be a 2 minus what your passive is.
While they roll, I can describe some more things too. It's not just cracks. It's one of the moments where you would see like the upheaval of their hair, where it just kind of starts to flicker up. That's the key thing I would describe, is that it would flicker. Instead of just being like laying down, it's like it tries to go up a bit and goes back down. But they're really good at suppressing themselves.
Yeah,
but now it's like this moment they can't suppress themselves super well.
And again, like you're not a wisdom-based character. Like even with your passive insight -2 to make a DC out of this, I'm sure that 25 exceeds it. The main reason I needed to ask for this is Louis' portrayal of the events. She is obviously like leaving gaps in the story.
Is it obvious? Is it
Yeah.
obvious with my 25?
Not anymore. Like the way that you did it made it very believable, and I mean, the story checks out. I mean, like random attack against a Genasi that lines up. Continue.
I can think of so many solutions of things. I can look at it, I can analyze as much as I can. But this is such a large outlier for you, Aluya, that it's driving me mad. And it hurts so much more when, at the moment when I needed to express this, no one's telling me anything. I am incentivized to not know, and that's what I am made for, is to know things. But now you're telling me it was just as simple as that, to know things.
Simple? No. I mean, I could have run, but to leave that, it was not just one person. They were going to attack more people because they felt like, they were helping outsiders or ruining their perfect community or whatever. Why we helped them? We took care of them because we are not the same as them or believe something different. I'm supposed to just shrug it off? I guess, beat me. Beat your people. It's okay. No.
It's essentially... Oluya, I will not...
I'm not smart like that. I guess I could have thought of things better, but that's probably one of my shortcomings. I don't think things through. I don't think of the later. I just focus on the now and how it feels. Again, like I said, I'm sorry things went down the way it did, and I'm more so sorry for you all because it sucks. You needing to overanalyze everything. You don't. I'm a fuck up. That is the answer.
Things...
I didn't even have to say it myself.
Damn.
Ouch. Putting butter... What the... Owie. regardless, though, when Aluya kind of says that, you can see more and more as I described things connected with Seer in the situation where it's like that, because as you kind of like berate yourself in the situation, it just seems it pokes more and more cracks upon them. And they just simply they're trying to do if you've seen someone stressed out, you just might see them rub their face more, rubbing their like cheek, maybe their forehead, touching whatever they can to try to like soothe. And it's one of those rare moments where it's like Seer is doing a lot of self-soothing as they're like rubbing, as Lulia's just describing this, and then just simply look, being like,
Before you reach this conclusion, I want to give you girls a little bit more time. Please give this conversation a bit of thought, whether it needs to escalate or the conclusion that's going to come to for the scene to end. There is one thing I want to readjust during that massaging phase for Seer as she's trying to get her bearings. Eddie, I do appreciate like you're letting things flow here, but you I do want to get your mental space here. You brought back this creature, Mavet. And so far, you've been hearing what he's been doing around town. You've seen what he's been doing around town and seen how he's interacting with your friends. Is there any actions that you take or anything that you say towards that?
Not yet.
Well, if I'm being honest, I was actually making sure that that Seer and Aluya would be able to have their space to have the discussion before addressing Mavet's thing, because it was also going to address the whole party.
Okay, gotcha. If that's what you have, then we can zoom back in. I just wanted to make sure it didn't get lost during all these things that are happening. If that's the case, again, time passes and Orange Shelly still appears to be out of it. How's this? What's the next phase of this? Moo, Nita.
I don't know how Seer, okay, that's why I can explain for Aluya, is like, this would be really new for Aluya to watch Seer, because very much, as I mentioned, Seer is very calm, collected, articulating what they see. But the best way I can explain it is that though Seer is like not a wisdom base and it's like deception, like she cannot deny your story, like straight up. But there's such an intellectual mind in such a way, like deeply engrossed, that something with that such large bounds and leaps of logic, it's starting to like crack at them really hard, because even though you're describing something to them, for them, they truly don't like, it's not that they don't believe it, it's that they don't want to believe that that is as simple of an answer. It's them in such big amount of denial. They're denying for your sake. It's the best way to explain for Aluya, because if they don't deny it, it's then just going to boil over, as you just kind of are seeing them start letting out these more neurotic tics, these little strange, as I mentioned, soothing behaviors, and eventually Seer will be like, there are so many things that I want to say, and yet I can't put them to words. I can't describe the turmoil of things in my mind as you say this to me, Aluya, because if everything holds true, I can't understand you. Mavet, I can make an excuse why I don't understand them, and that's because they're a goddamn tree. But in this scenario of things, in this case, when I thought I could read you, I really can't, and now I'm scared of this. A loose cannon, I understand who you are, but this is not about just being a loose cannon. I need to understand what is all of this, and you're telling me that you just messing up. I can't let you take that as an answer. I can't let you even have that as an answer.
But
Because I
you're
don't wanna
going to see it. My gosh, you're going to have to. It is what it is, and it's super shitty. And it's my fault. That's it. It's no one else's. Except that. You don't have to understand or break it down or feel some type of way for me. It's fine. I consider you all friends. Mavet at the moment is something, but that's it. We're just friends. You could take it or leave it. I'm not going to stop you. Hate me, don't hate me. There's nothing more to this conversation. You're not going to get anything else because there is nothing else. So, I don't know. Drop it, move on. Your choice. And
I
just gonna turn away from you, and you're gonna get like a coldness from her.
One more. I again, I do want let that roll, and that first roll went over through most of the conversation here, but you got lost in emotion, and you were adamant that there is nothing else to this. Need one more.
All right.
depending on how this one goes, I think I know what I would roll for myself, Gray.
No, there's no rolls going against your DC here. Tell
Oh
me
no,
your.
no, I'm aware.
Yep.
This is separate. This is what I'm saying.
Okay. Tell me your insight, DC. It'd be 8 plus proficiency bonus plus your insight.
Me?
No, that I'm talking to Sierra as you're rolling. I need deception. Just one more.
All right. If anything, I'll use a D6.
Okay. You got the numbers here?
I got the numbers for insight, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Oh,
Might be close, but she might be spending a D6. Yeah.
She can.
Oh, 22.
She
Yeah,
definitely destroyed
crushed
me.
it. Yeah, crushed it. Guess there's nothing else from it.
Then
How does this conclude?
let me first roll one last thing. With that leap in logic, I am going to roll a thing that would make a lot of sense for the situation, and that is a charisma check for it as a social roll. Whatever I get is whatever I roll with. It is this moment when Aluya turns away that I think the rest of the group would see very much this moment where it's like being shut out, being like pushed out of a situation that Aluya just kind of did, was almost that breaking point. It was like it almost teetered over. It's that moment when everybody saw like, oh shit, Seer was like about to do something irrational or like unpredictable. No, doesn't have to be anything violent, doesn't have to be anything like that would be extreme. But there is that moment where you would just see like Seer have like a big crack occur on their body. I don't know if people would visually hear it. I'm gonna leave it up to Gray. But besides that, they would see the hair, like a real fire, would start to rise up high. And it just like it's this moment where it's like it almost goes full like up. And then it's this moment where like as Seer's like staring at Aluya and kind of like the shaking fist of a situation. Suddenly I think Aluya we hear just like this massive like clap as like Seer just kind of like smacks themselves in the face, trying to like bring themselves back to attention. Again, it's basically they're trying to knock themselves out of their like raw emotion of things.
it was loud. It's heavy with a heavy force upon themselves as the hair would come back down, and the cracks would remain. But it's a situation where it's like Seer just like keeps their face covered with her hand and being like, so.
No, you trigger
go ahead.
yourself.
Okay.
That was an extraordinary and very loud sound that reverberates off of the antechamber. Now I'm willing to throw the ball in your park. This can be a moment where you become more resistant to it or more susceptible to it.
Ooh,
Or
you know what?
It can really like guide the next phase here, because you might get ruled by an emotion, whether it be anxiety, anger, or you might stand against these emotions, suppress it, and move forward despite the trigger. It is all up to you.
My question actually then would be this, just as a small insight for someone. So Mega, you've watched this character grow in many ways. What would be more fun? Just as an insight, because I do have a decision, but I want to hear what you think.
Honestly, I think in this moment, it's like Seer is trying to garner resilience that has largely been lacking as of recent. So I think you actually would actually be more resistant to it this time around. Because like if you feel like because I'm making a judgment here. It's like if you're trying so hard not to break, you're trying to find resilience somewhere.
I was thinking the same thing. That is exactly what I would think, because if I can't find the resilience, then everything crumbles. So resilience in this case, Gray.
Okay. Let's see. Where would that strength stem from? You know what? We've been doing a lot of Messiah talk with Eddie and how he treats the people. Now let's talk about a different aspect of this. Seer, you've been walking a very lonely path fraught with corpses, hatred, and thrown stones. You've suffered through jeers, pranks, and all sorts of diabolical acts and verbal abuse. You have walked this road straight forward, looking for that end of the tunnel, and a lot of times you lose it, and everything seems dark. But in this moment, when you hear that loud sound, it echoes in your head like a bell. And as you close your eyes, take a deep breath, you feel the flame in your heart, the warmth in your hands. It is not burning you. It is not taking over. It is not a wildfire. It's a tempered flame. You look around in this mental scape and you can feel it. All your life you've been walking this path alone, Seer, but now you see it, you feel it, you can hear the thrum of the crowd, you can hear the people march, you can feel your people. You are their guiding light, you are their lodestar, you are what's necessary for change. You cannot fall below their expectations. What do you do?
Then Seer will be true to the Genasi nature of the primordial flame. Because the main thing, if you look at a lot of Genasi lore, they are not afraid to express themselves. They are not afraid to be boisterous. They're not afraid to be opinionated. They are very much bright. However, in Seer's way of handling the brightness of things, I think it's the moment where Seer would finally let their emotions go and let the flame kind of like rise up a bit. And she would just say, in a miserable voice as Aluya would turn and just simply say, I'd still forgive you. Just not right now. And it's one of those moments where it's like, where Seer would crack is that, as I would describe, I don't imagine Seer would just explode in an anger. It's just this moment where I think Seer would finally like let out tears, which would not come out as like water. Honestly, I'm gonna leave it to the description of how Gray would describe as someone who is just very much crying of the Genasi nature of her face, but it's like this moment where it's like she's trying to walk away from the scenario of things after Aluya says that and just simply leaves with that parting words.
Steam rising from your cheeks as each droplet of water burns away.
The cracks have fully lifted up, and I would describe as the hair no longer just laying down as like full up. In true like Genasi nature, as fire does not flow down, it flows up.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of hilarious if you think about it, because it looks like essentially, if you ever seen the X-Men Storm, where their hair is like flying up in the air, that's just what Seer is looking at the moment, where it glows really brightly. She is burning brightly with sorrow, with this emotion of sadness.
Did Aluya say her piece?
Oh yeah, her back is still turned, but she can
Okay.
hear the pain in Seer's voice, but she's gonna keep being cold to Seer.
All right, Eddie.
If everyone is done speaking, I need to make it very, very clear what I'm about to say, and I need you all to listen. Because no matter how big or small the chance is, there is a chance I might not get to say it, should anything happen. Eddie looks over to Seer. There's a lot of things that I wish I could tell you. Things that I hoped maybe you could figure for yourself, but maybe it's just been so long since you felt it, you forgot to consider it. But due to the circumstances, I can't say a word. Then looks to Aluya.
Yeah, Louis would have turned when Eddie started speaking, so yes, and she's attentive to his words.
You're allowed to make your own decisions. Just know that you are in charge of your own happiness. Hopefully, you'll be able to find the courage to pursue that happiness rather than run away from it because you think you don't deserve it.
Kind of just see her swallow like a big lump. Just nods her head, and she looks very sad at Eddie's words.
And Mavet,
Yes, Eddie.
I understand there's a lot of things you don't understand about this world and about other people. But I need you to show everyone in this group the same respect that you show me. Even if you do not trust them, I still need you to respect them. Are we clear on that?
I can try.
There is either do or don't. There is no try.
Fine.
And this is to all of you, including you, if you plan to pause for a moment, do whatever machinations are behind those eyes of you.
One more time.
Which part did I cut off at?
Just make the declaration one more time.
Oh, and to you, as Eddie now looks to Gumo.
Oh,
It says, I can't remember the exact wording now. It's if you plan to follow us around in whatever machinations lay behind those eyes, I need you to heed one warning, just as all of you need to heed one warning. So long as you're traveling with me, and in fact, I hope you would choose it beyond this, but especially so long as I'm here, we will not behave as we've done over the past day. My family, both through circumstance and through intent, have hurt a number of people. Many lives were lost, or many lives were ruined. But for me, I don't want to be that person. And I can't be friends with people who will choose the same as those who came before me. Life is worth living. Other people's lives are worth preserving. And so is their happiness, if we can help it. We can raise our defenses. We can hold up our swords if we need to. But please, I am begging you all, not just for our sakes, but for theirs as well, that we don't take arms against someone who has but empty hands. I will have no innocent blood spilled in my name. Do I make myself clear?
You
Yes.
see the camera pan to each person, and I want to hear each person's facial expression, mental state, and the response. Olivia, you jumped the gun, so let's start off with you. What's your face look like, mental state? And let me hear that response one more time.
She's serious. Her mental state is she does feel really bad, especially more towards Eddie than anything because of what they discussed and what the coming events might be. But it's just a serious, like a private listening to his lieutenant, like, yes.
Mm-hmm. Gumo.
His facial expression is a kind of careful curiosity. There's a blue glow surrounding his arm that is currently trying to draw his sword, but he's keeping it held down and out of the way.
Yep.
He's more so curious about where this will go and just what will happen on the way. Who will stick true to what he asks, who won't. Like, when Oluya and Seer were fighting, he had been, well, he hadn't been anything other than interested, but his arms had been surrounded by that glow and were clapping, and what seemed like amusement or some kind of enjoyment at the conflict of the situation. But he himself, the side of him that's normally in control, is not much more than curious.
Now, before you give a verbal response, I need to ask you. Like, we went around before we started recording, and we went over certain topics. Now, I need to ask you: does this affect your character in any way? Like, short, long term? Like, does your character see this as a challenge? Can you not spill innocent blood? Is that something your character is even capable of? Or does he want to
I
see,
suppose.
like, just to finish off here, or does he want to see if anyone else can stay steadfast, making empty promises?
I suppose I will give it a try. But I think both halves of me will be watching what the rest of you do with great interest, even if my other half is not quite happy about my agreement.
Eddie, someone said they would try again. Very peculiar
This
word.
is not a question of try. The fact of the matter is, if you will not, you will walk.
Then I will. And in his head he goes, until I won't.
All right. Mavet.
So Mavet's facial expression is blank, but because of the nexus that me and Eddie share, it would be ever so faint. I don't think the other party would see it, but you could see Mavet's astral arms manifest, and they are comforting him, like rubbing his shoulder, giving him an slight embrace. And what Eddie could see is tears of smoke coming down Mavet's face. And Mavet agrees to do what Eddie wants. But what Mavet's thinking right now is this is his first time seeing what he feels is weakness in Eddie, and it's making him question.
Okay, this is an onion. First, I want to hear verbally. I don't want to hand wave that. What's your exact wording in response?
It went around so much time. What was the original? What did Eddie say verbatim?
There will be no innocent blood spilt in his name. Unless there's a bit more that I missed out from the core question. Mega?
I mean, there was also the lead up of like you can raise your defenses, raise your arms, raise your sword. It's like but not lay it against somebody whose hands are bare.
What are you
Almost
doing?
perhaps pointedly calling to a situation that he wasn't present for. But
Yeah, I just want to make sure I got the whole breadth of the situation. Yeah, Mavet says softly, it's like, I won't hurt anyone. I won't hurt innocents. no matter their strength. But you could see that this is deeply, or Eddie might be able to see that this is deeply troubling to Mavet.
I'm willing to put it out there again with how we've been doing the Nexus, in that you are a literal incarnation of that product. That I wouldn't say Eddie can read your deep thoughts, but at least he can get a feeling for some surface level thoughts or feelings. Eddie, like you feel his mental state and how he's described it. Is there anything more to add on, or is it just a look or an action?
It's like Eddie giving pause for a moment to Mavet's answer. Takes a deep breath. Before finally answering, the strong do not go stronger by stomping upon the weak. It takes they take their growth in their own hands, and they rise through their own strength. Only the weak rely on stomping out those weaker than them to feel strong.
Mavet's just kind of at a loss for words. He's just gonna sit down as those arms begin to like cover his face, but his real arms are seated on the ground with him.
Does it even occur to Mavet that this reflects his internal turmoil made manifest, where he is in the position of being the weak? Because
Not really.
what you're
He's more
describing is parallel to your internal conflict.
what he's more saying right now is it's of his short-term goals. He was wanting to protect Eddie because father and strong, and I need to look up to him. But also, Mavet does mature at a fast rate compared to every like growing up. Like the kid and teenage phases don't last as long typically. Like, they're hyper fast. He's seeing his dad to him be weak, and
Mm-hmm.
does he still look up to him, but he still has that connection that he's unable to separate, so he doesn't know how to think of it. He's seeing his dad as not the what he thought he was, with him showing this weakness for wanting to help others.
Yeah, much like a hero not meeting your standards or ideals when you meet them.
Correct.
Okay. We lingered on this long enough. Let's move over to the one of the main people of the hour here, Seer. How do you respond to his question to the party? What's your facial expression, mental state, and how do you respond verbally?
I would say expression's pretty obvious. Is that Seer, with after the conversation with like Aluya and this, and them hearing Eddie asking this question, she's not hiding her emotions in this situation. Well, she's hiding away from Aluya, so she turned her body away from like the rest of the group. But when she has Eddie question her in the things, she will have this expression of sorrow that slowly turns into a more bold look where she has a piercing gaze upon Eddie when he says such a thing. It's not of maliciousness. It's very much this indignation of like, you already know my answer. But Eddie would be maybe, I don't think he'd be surprised, but he might be taken aback that Seer is like no longer having a stoic face and just like stone face. It's very much like this face of like determination, but with a great amount of like sorrow. Her mental state is not great. In fact, it's one of the rare moments where, as I mentioned with her Genasi side of things, it seems that she's just letting herself feel as her like expression is there. And it'd be one of those rare moments too where when she moves her hand away as she's about to express, pieces of her face kind of just fall off. I don't want to describe it in a grotesque way, but it's like when I mentioned the cracking, it's like the situation where like plating, yeah, is the best way to explain it. And
They're coming off in flakes.
they're coming off in flakes as like her hand comes off her face, trying to like no longer try to cover it. Tears still coming off as steam. Possibly the pulsating color under her skin is now prominent from the flakes that have broken off of a golden of like lava color. And she just really says to Eddie, "You know damn well that I will not shed any blood from the amount of times we've been together. So I will uphold that promise like I have always have."
It's like, so then Eddie takes in another breath. Only maybe this time with his pen, because this is definitely a situation. Breathes it out. All right. With any luck, if everything's been set up just right, we might all get out of this alive. But if not, I hope you guys remember what I said. And don't stop me if I do something you don't like what I'm about to do.
Silence in the room. It's deafening. The words linger. We already know what everyone looks like. Everyone said their words. Everyone put their hearts on the table. Is there anything more to be said? And the silence continues.
Well said. You are truly a lodestar.
At some point during that speech, we see the eyes glowing. Looking around at the party.
Yes. It is sad that you all bear such weights and burdens. But it does put me at ease that you are not. That you are not perfect. That you have flaws like the rest of us.
Walks towards Eddie.
I must ask you, I am very curious. How did you get out of my shackles?
And we have a flash as at the very beginning, where all these characters were introduced, it was mentioned offhand that the person that made the shackles that binded you for your very first mission was made by a man who went by the name Orangelli.
Well, I suppose that's the trouble with someone who's had so many chats with so many people. So you think you know everything, but that just means that you forget how to expect the unexpected.
Curious. Mr. Hayes, you have grown up a lot in such a short time.
And he's just looking you up and down. As a reminder, I believe you are still wearing a suit. You no longer wear casual clothes nowadays.
Yep.
You look dignified. Someone who can bear the weight and responsibility of upholding your family's name. You know, they speak highly of you.
And it's kind of up in the air of who he means by they. Could mean a bunch of things.
So, well, I do hope that I have the strength to uphold it. But stronger still, I hope I have the power to shape it how I want to.
You see the eyes burn a little bit brightly, and you feel like you've gained a sense of approval from this individual.
Truly a lodestar. Mr. Hayes, I wish to gain all your favor. I do not wish to trick you. I wish to be friends. You all. I am running short on time. There are things I must do. I wish to convey to all of you that the end times approach, and change is around the corner. We are reaching the end of an era. This world, it has an expiration. This corpse-like lands is beginning to smell. And there are hungry carrions in the world. They are very, very hungry. And I'm afraid that the walls that protect us are falling apart. We need someone to guide us. Someone to protect us. And if you do not take the stand, I'm afraid there will be all but one race that remains.
He does not go further on that.
I will not speak vaguely. I will be straight with you. I wish something from all of you. Back when I was a younger gentleman, back when I was a neophyte, a blind man, I had a tower. I built that tower far away from everyone else. And lo and behold, when I noticed my tower moving from the Pangea, it was in the Arctic and Icelands. Very, very familiar Icelands.
As he's looking around.
I built it atop these very lands, the very surface we find ourselves underneath. I would be surprised when I noticed someone has taken my tower and claimed it as their own.
And fires begin to burn slightly.
And further yet, they ward me from my own home.
It breathes for the first time, smoke leaving its mouth.
I wish for an empty tower, if you would be so kind.
What do you say?
Well, as it would happen, I think we know the very tower that you're talking about.
Is that so? Well.
Yeah,
But
it's, at least originally. Hard to say whether they're expecting it now, but the person who took over that tower, I believe, is still hoping for a few eggs.
begins to look up away from you.
I see. Well, let me try to get into your good graces. What they are doing is vile. The future you speak of is one I wish to live in, not the demented home of those terrorists. Have you found it strange that there is not many Genasi hiding here? That there is only one? What that thing has made needs to be destroyed. It is not born from us, it is made of us. It is a chorus of voices made up from the bodies of Genasi.
Unless you say anything, he will continue.
They're just notating for it. Now they know for a fact what to do because, oh my god, stop using Genasi as fuel for your war.
I mean, even like a step further, and Jetty would say, and that would explain their recruitment efforts.
Yes. They claim to serve under their watchers. They deify them. No. They are amalgamations, monsters. And that thing is not natural. It is an abomination. And it is strange. There is but a piece of humanity in it, and I find it strange that it is lost, yet it has found a lodestar.
And it burns, looking at you.
It looks for its light, and yet it sees you as light. It sees you as the path forward, not its creator. Strange. Your force of will, your personality, can even draw those that are twisted and lost.
And do you think back to the conversation that you had in the alchemist shop, the anomaly that happened during the pyreworm fight of Quagmire losing control, that there is a force, and you have made friends with it.
We are running low on time, so I will keep this brief. However you find your way to the surface, my tower is shrouded by a blizzard. It is no calamity. It has no thought. It is but a barrier. A very dangerous barrier. There are 4 black obelisks. They are monuments to teach those who are lost to history. Should the end times come, they will bear fruit of our history. I wish for you to go to each obelisk. Touch it. Read it. Once they are activated, the storm will disperse, and you are free to walk within my doors and teach it the folly of trespassing on Orangelli's grounds. Three stones, the final within the heart of my tower.
We'll teach it a lesson it'll never forget.
The doors begin to open, and he says quickly to you,
One upon the mountain, one within the village, one within the fortress. Touch them, read them, guide us, O lodestars.
and he will begin to shuffle away.
Give me the name I seek. I'll
So where's the door?
There's two doors. The one that leads to the chamber where everyone is waiting begins to open up. We see Orangelli leaving towards the staircase you guys came from, and no more words can be shared. The time has come.
Carrier pigeon will do.
You find yourself within Whale Song Hall. To describe the area, it feels like you are in the bottom of an ocean. You can't see the walls, you can't see the ceiling. Is masterful architecture. The ripples of clear waters and waves above reflect light on the bottom of the ocean here. You see 5 chairs, 4 of which are filled. You see a crowd of 100 elves standing by, murmuring to one another, and you see a podium, center stage, for you guys to approach, and you see the guards leading you to the podium. How do you guys carry yourselves to the center of the room?
All miserably so. I ain't gonna hide it. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, they're being true to their emotions. So I'm currently having Seer just trying to keep up appearances, but it's like miserably failing as they can't keep a stoic face.
Everyone else?
Oluya is looking down at the ground, kind of sad, but more so she glances over a lot at Eddie and looks away and just kind of stays quiet. But she'll stay close to him.
Mavet, Gumo?
Gumo's more so looking around the room with curiosity, not paying much attention to the people in front of him or the party around him.
Mavet?
Mavet is just soaking in.
And Eddie?
He carries himself forward with his head up high. It's like obviously, apparently needing to make a strong front. It's considering everyone presumably behind him isn't exactly feeling in a particularly confident or fighting mood right now,
Yep.
given recent conversations.
You approach the podium. And the first one to speak is a woman. She's familiar. You heard her speaking before. It is Islith. The sea elf, very long white hair, pale white skin, long ears, and that Polynesian color and design dress with a lot of threads across her forearm. You see that it surprises the other council members as she speaks, like what she's about to say wasn't scripted or the natural procedure. A century of peace. A century of peace and understanding. Set aflame in a single night. I have spent a century building bridges between the elves and the Genasi. All destroyed in a single day. Enough, another person speaks in. You see that this man, although elves seem youthful, this man seems younger than most. You see that he holds a bit of air of authority. His hair is shaven for the most part. And we know this man as Corvallis, head of justice. These are our heroes. We should give them praise before we move forward. It is our way. But it is our way. And there's a couple seconds as the woman bites her lip, takes a deep breath, and stares at you, Eddie. He starts off by saying, I speak on behalf of all sea elves that what you have done will never be forgotten. Many you have saved are here today to bear witness to our adulation and to discuss what happened yesterday. I do not want to underscore how grateful we are. Because of your help, only 20 of us, give or take, have perished. He smiles. You stand as the heart of our people. And because of you, many children will be able to wake up tomorrow with a mother, father, brothers, and sisters in a community that will embrace them. For that, you have our thanks. And each one of the council members bows a head. I don't need a perception check, Eddie. You see one hesitating, and you know who it is. As each person is bowing their head to you, and there's open disdain in the act. Although Islith takes a moment, there's one other. And you know him to be Solmaris. As he stares daggers into you. And eventually, you see that for but a heartbeat, he nods his head. They give a moment of pause to allow you to respond to their praise.
Eddie would consider his response before finally saying that we only did what we would hope anyone would do in the same situation, given of course the same abilities.
Indeed.
We gratefully accept your thanks.
Yes. Truly, the customs of our people. You know, I share those same sentiments. I truly believe that we should help one another. We are all brothers and sisters. In fact, I have sided with our late council member, and looking towards the empty seat, Ialarin, on helping our brothers and sisters in Adontis during these troubling times. I am moved by your values, Mr. Hayes. And again, he takes a deeper nod. And unless you say something in that absence, he'll continue on here. He will do something that will cause the room to gasp or begin to murmur as he addresses a Genasi in the group. Seer. And you, I must say, your efforts have been recognized within our beloved city. You've done much to reduce our casualties. Our physicians speak highly of you. It is unfortunate that our alchemist could not provide services in our times of need. This is it. Doesn't appear that anyone is aware of what has happened in the alchemist shop yet, considering all the events that happened. But you have our thanks. I want to say, in behalf of the Sea Elf community... Now hang on 1 second! Solmaris pipes in. It's one thing to praise Mr. Hayes, but you are speaking to enough. On behalf of the Sea Elf community, we are in and maintaining eye contact with Solmaris. We are in your debt. Does Seer say anything to that?
Seer would eventually respond, I would love to do even more, for the work never ends. And that is why, even now, if I'm far away or even here, I will never stop.
You make the man laugh. Corvallis chuckles. My. You know, you are not alone. Although you are very talented, one must learn to delegate the responsibilities. For me, I can't cut off every criminal's head, nor can I reprimand every minor misdemeanor. It is through all of us as a community that we act as one and bear the weight equally. Please, do not feel as if you could have done more. You have done more than enough. And I wish, and he smiles, I do not wish to dampen your flame, Fire Genasi. I wish for you to burn brighter, that you continue walking and helping those in need. We need more people like you. And again, people are gasping. And it resonates when he calls you a person.
Then, with great confidence that I can say this, I hope you understand that while you say I don't need to do so much, I must go beyond. And beyond the capabilities I can, I must grow it so that I can help more. Just because I hope eventually those that are in shock at the moment will no longer be shocked, but see that I only want what's best for everyone, and that is their happiness, and be able to have the potential to live through that happiness.
gives you a gentle smile. Speak of it so easily. You know, I have thought long and hard on what is happiness. What is the right thing to do for everyone? It is with firm philosophy. Standing tall, back strong, and holding your values and integrity close to your heart, where you can make decisions that you'll never regret. You can never appease everyone. Hell, sometimes the majority, and taking a moment to savor that. Talking to you, all people. Sometimes the majority might hate for what you stand for, but you must always walk forward for what you know to be right.
That is why the adage I will show to all is that actions speak louder than words or illusions of what people think of us.
And I'm afraid you are correct. Actions certainly do speak louder than words. And he says it with a bit of a frown, and his eyes shifting to Aluia. Today is supposed to be a celebration to honor everything you all have done, to show our gratitude, to make bridges and connections, to bring us out of isolation and experience the world that we fear. But I am afraid that we must address the issue in the room. I wish to speak to your friend. And eyes locked onto Aluia.
She gives full attention and kind of perks her heads up and like nods.
There is an absence for you to step in, Eddie. I know you made your plans clear of how you want this to unfold, but this is a situation to make your stand or to take control of where this is going.
It's like it will be this moment then, like Eddie speaks up. It's anything that anyone under my charge has committed, even in my absence, I will be taking full responsibility for.
You could hear a pin drop within the room. The lights dance on the floor from the light above, shining onto the water and the waves. Mr. Hayes, you do understand what you are saying, correct?
Of course I do.
The gravity of that decision. We are not talking about a misdemeanor here. We are not talking about a slap on the wrist. Your position will not save you from any punishment.
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And everyone will have a chance to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I love that code wording.
Yeah. You see the council members like whispering amongst each other. Like, it's Hayes. Hayes. Hear your name being repeated. Again, you feel as if you are being talked of not as an individual, but an organization. And they are actually going over profit losses and how much losing a connection with your family might affect their economy. But you see one person that doesn't engage in the conversation. He's just staring at you with a smile. Why? I'd say there's no need to talk about this. Let the man bear the responsibilities. Come now. We have to represent the people, after all, you hear Solmaris say. I mean, this is Mr. Hayes, after all. We have to respect his decision. And he says it with an insidious smile.
Oh, of course, sir. It is as I said. I have every intention of bearing the burden of whatever sentence will be carried.
Now,
But, as I would recall, though, if anything regarding a crime is needing to be sentenced, unless I'm misremembering, a court hearing is required. And so a discussion of everything would also be required.
Make me an intimidation check, because he's getting the undertone.
You have your
And-
2d6s.
Yeah. This will determine how much of an obstacle this person will be and whether or not they might support you during this endeavor. Depending on how high you roll, it might determine whether this person is willing to burn all bridges just to see you suffer, or if they have any sensibility for their own preservation. And I don't think I need to stress it too much, but this will be a significantly high DC.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god!
Oh.
Someone needs an inspiration. Give that inspiration someone.
Yeah, you can have my inspiration. No, he has my inspiration.
Oh my god, that was like... Oh, he even rolled a 1 on the 4. What the fuck?
I mean, it does happen. Like,
It's just the time when it happens. Fucking Christ, man.
I mean, I will laugh.
If you roll another fucking 1.
If they roll another one, we just have to go with the fate of the dice, okay?
I mean, it just means that they're just going to be a permanent antagonist.
Yep. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
You have 2d6s.
Well, it just depends if he wants to use it right now. Because what's
I
going to be
mean-
coming next is going to be significant, but it could be helpful.
I mean, honestly, with the intention that it's a high DC, and
Yep.
really the only cost is that this particular person was never really inclined to be on Eddie's side to begin with. I think the D6s would actually be better served elsewhere down the line.
But there is one thing I could do for you, Eddie. Flash of genius.
Are you sure you'd want to do that right now?
It's really based off of what Eddie looks at me for. So, like, if Eddie looks at Sierra for support, I would. But if Eddie sticks to his grounds and stares at them, then no.
You want a bardic inspiration?
Jesus. Bardic Inspiration wouldn't be applicable right now.
Okay.
The Flash of Genius I can do because I believe it's a reaction.
Correct, but I'll leave it
Yep.
up to Eddie. So if Eddie says the final number, what it is, then I'll stick with what he says.
You know what? I mean, just because this guy is an asshole.
Okay.
Although, actually, don't I already have a boost with
Yeah, roll with advantage one more time. That is correct.
Woo!
Yeah, good memory. This is time to recall it, because if we would have made a verdict, we would have just kept moving forward. But yeah, please do remind me of passive boosts that I've given you.
I'll just say myself so everyone can just
It's
roll a
any
20.
and all charisma checks towards the Sea Elf community. And he is a part of the Sea Elf community. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
What's the total on that?
So then that would become, well, it raised by 9, so increase the last number by 9 to a 25.
25? And you're sure with that? 100%? 25?
Yep, 25
That-
is what it comes to.
That would be 25, yep.
DC 20 fucking 5. You see the man, he narrows his eyes, and I kind of want to imagine if anyone's seen Death Note, like there's moments where like both the protagonist and the antagonist have moments where they're in their own space,
God.
shaded by color. Imagine this very moment where Eddie is blue and this man is red, and it's like they're in their own world and everything else is a haze. They maintain eye contact. And you see, Mega, that this man is willing to die to end you. But there's something about your gaze, something about how you hold yourself. It is not the undertone threat that gets your point across, Eddie. Much like Seer, when she was dealing with her trauma, could feel everyone that follows her and her ideals walking the same path. As does this person, as he sees not just you, but all the connections you've made. You are not one, you are many. You are a force to be reckoned with. You see him take a deep breath. And, Eddie, you feel like you've earned your first success to this upcoming court as you've secured a vote. All right. As much as I want to go forward, we do not have the time to go through this trial, because there is going to be a lot to fucking unpack here. We'll end on that note. Thank you guys so much for playing. Towards Aluya and Seer, give yourselves both inspiration. If you already have inspiration, give yourself a d6. That was amazing roleplay. Everyone did amazing roleplay. But I want to reward you two specifically for maintaining a conflict, creating a conflict, maintaining it, and civilly handling it in character. Thank you guys so much.
Hooray.
Yay! Aluya now made Seer very depressed.
Goodness.
This has been House Common Blood. The intro and outro music is Oh My Dog by Savick, and any other music and sound effects used in the episode are royalty free. Credits can be found in the episode description. Please review us on whatever podcast listening app you happen to be using. And if you like us, tell other people. Word of mouth is the best way for us to grow. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you soon.